bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Order. Come.
As we open our graduation ceremonies, let's take a moment for some reflection. Let us pray. Almighty God, you create us all, your sons and daughters, with two qualities or characteristics that separate us from all the other forms of creation. You give us intelligence, and you give us free will. The ability to know, the ability to choose. We determine by our actions and by our choosing our destiny. Today, a group of men and women complete their goals, their ambitions. Through the support of others, they have reached what they have worked so hard for. But at the same time, help all of us to remember we're all responsible for our own actions. We all have great potential, but the obligation to develop that potential. And lastly, we're all members of a much larger family than self. We're members now of a group that has a common good, the Indiana State Police family. Help us all, not only the cadets, but all members of this family, to make sure, as we fulfill our responsibilities, that we make our state a better place, that we uphold the traditions and the honor that's been long established by the Indiana State Police. And lastly, that we remain true to our own values and our own traditions. And we ask this in your name.
Honorable Lieutenant Governor John Mutz, Honorable Chief Justice Shepard, Superintendent Furness, Assistant Superintendent Cox, Indiana Law Enforcement Executive Director Arthur Rainey, Indiana State Police Board members, President Robert McConnell, James W. Heide, Secretary, David Allen, and John Sadler. Father Cooley, distinguished guests, fellow officers, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 45th recruit class of the Indiana State Police. During the past 17 weeks, the members of this class have excelled both academically and physically. They have worked diligently to uphold the standards expected of them by receiving over 700 hours of instruction, which is all designed to prepare them for the next training phase as a probationary officer. This class excelled in numerous facets of their training, as exemplified by an overall class academic average of approximately 90%. All families and friends should be proud of their accomplishments and professionalism, just as we are proud of each one of them. It is now my privilege to introduce to you the Superintendent of the Indiana State Police, Larry D. Furness. He graduated from Indiana State University in Terre Haute, Indiana, with a bachelor's degree in accounting. He attended Indiana University School of Law in Indianapolis, Indiana, and received his Doctor of Jurisprudence in January of 1976. He joined the ranks of the Indiana State Police back in May 16, 1964, and has advanced through all the ranks from trooper to his present assignment as superintendent. He is a member of the Marion County Bar Association, the Indiana State Bar Association, the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and the Indiana Criminal Law Study Commission. Superintendent Furness.
Thank you very much. Lieutenant Governor Mutz, Chief Justice, members of the board, Colonel Cox, Father Cooley, Major Medler, we thank you very much for being here. We thank you, families and friends, wives and relatives. This is a big day in the lives of these recruits that we have sitting here before you, cadets soon to become officers. And it started several weeks ago. I mentioned to them a few words at that time and told them how difficult it was going to be as they proceeded down through these last 18 weeks. And I just want to talk a little about that at this time. And first of all, I'd like to talk to you cadets. The day you started at the academy, I congratulated you for being selected to train to become an Indiana State Trooper. Today, I commend you and congratulate you for your accomplishment and your commitment to that task. You have come a long way since you first decided to become a law enforcement officer. For some of you, that decision was made early in your life, perhaps even when you were a child. For some of you, that decision comes as a strong sense of commitment to serve mankind, and that's what led you here. Whatever the decision, whenever it was made, you have traveled a long, hard road to this graduation. The written examination, the background, the oral interview, all of it began the process that brought you here nearly a year ago now. There were psychological tests, polygraphs, physical agility exams. All were a part of the process that you experienced along your journey. Then for the last 18 weeks, you attended the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy at Plainfield, which became your home. You ate there, you slept there, you studied there, you learned there. Society itself, though, is measured by the basic values of its people. Too often, some of those values are compromised by a few, to the detriment of many. The degree to which these basic values can be controlled influences the likelihood of our living in an atmosphere of peace, harmony, and happiness. The career you have chosen will help accomplish that task. Every Indiana citizen has a stake in the results. Some bear an exceptional share of the responsibility because of the career they have chosen to follow. It takes a special person to accept the commitment and responsibility associated with being an Indiana State Trooper. Decisions must be made quickly and safely, wisely as well. They must be backed by knowledge of the law and understanding of human reactions. It's rarely easy, never routine. Meeting the unexpected requires confidence, requires special skills that are developed through extensive training. You've had some of that training. We have given it to you these last few weeks, but it's only a foundation of confidence, a foundation of special skills from which to build upon. The Academy personnel cannot teach you everything in the classroom that you will need to handle with every encounter that you're going to meet. You will learn more and gain higher understanding every day that you work on the road, the real classroom. Every day will be a learning experience, a test, a challenge for you. From traffic patrol, crime scene investigation, to safety education, the trooper provides only the best in police service to its Indiana citizens. The spirit that makes the Indiana State Police Department great lies in the dedication of its members and in the department determination to constantly improve its level of service. Laws, procedures, forensic crime technologies change with the times. Today, more than ever, change rapidly, quickly, and without notice most often. Criminal justice is more than just a job. It's a career, it's a way of life. It's always a learning process. The Indiana State Police Department is a full-service department with responsibilities far greater than highway patrol. Traffic enforcement, criminal enforcement, and public service are part of the day-to-day life for an Indiana State Police officer. To the wives, husbands, fiancés, parents, sons and daughters, relatives and friends, you have reason to be proud of your cadet who is about to become a trooper. Each has worked hard, they've learned well, and he now moves on to greater challenges. I thank each one of you for the support that you have given your cadet and encourage you to continue that support in the months ahead. The job of a police officer is a tough one. As I told the cadets on the first day of the academy, only the fit will survive. We aim to turn out police officers who can cope with the rigors of the job and who will represent the department with pride and dignity. I feel we have reached that goal. It is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for the morning, Lieutenant Governor John Mutz. The Lieutenant Governor of Indiana is assigned more responsibilities than any other Lieutenant Governor in America. Lieutenant Governor John Mutz is uniquely qualified to shoulder several important tasks for the people of Indiana. His assigned duties include President of the Indiana Senate, Director of the Indiana Department of Commerce, Commissioner of Agriculture, and, as of January 1985, responsibility for the state's employment and training system. Lieutenant Governor Mutz received the new assignment from Governor Bob Orr, who transferred authority for the Indiana Office of Occupational Development and Indiana Employment Security Division to Mr. Mutz. As Director of the Indiana Department of Commerce, Lieutenant Governor Mutz oversees the state's divisions of industrial development, minority business development, community and economic development, international trade, business and financial services, energy, tourism, economic analysis, and agriculture. These duties make Lieutenant Governor Mutz the official in charge of three important state functions: job creation, matching workers with jobs, and helping provide training that prepares Hoosiers for the jobs of today. A descendant of early settlers of Bartholomew and Johnson counties, Lieutenant Governor Mutz is married to his high school sweetheart, Carolyn. Both are graduates of Broad Ripple High School in Indianapolis He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Advertising and Business Management in 1957 and a master's degree in 1958, both from Northwestern University. The Mutzes have two children, Mark, who is a recent graduate of Yale University School of Law, and Diana, who is pursuing a PhD at Stanford University. Lieutenant Governor Mutz is a true friend of the Indiana State Police Department. In his capacity and role as Pro Tem of the Senate, he has supported every piece of legislation the Indiana State Police Department has ever put before it. He has spoken at our career camps, at our youth programs, and he's here today in that same support. Please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Governor John Mutz.
Distinguished members of the rostrum and Superintendent Furness in particular, let me thank you for the complete and extensive introduction that you provided. It is great fun to be Lieutenant Governor in the state of Indiana because your state, unlike any other, has given the Lieutenant Governor a job description, something to do. Not too long ago, I was talking with another lieutenant governor in another state, and he explained to me how different it was there. He said being lieutenant governor in my state, in this case the state of New York, was like being the corpse at an Irish wake. He explained that it was absolutely essential that you be there for the party, but not too much was expected from you. Well, it happens here in Indiana that it is one of my great opportunities as lieutenant governor to come frequently in contact with one of the finest law enforcement agencies that exists anywhere in these United States, and that is the Indiana State Police. Now today, we honor 55 recruits, cadets who will soon become probationary troopers. The tradition that they are about to enter is one that is marked by a tremendous history, a record of discipline, and a record of excellence in every respect. The 55 men and women who sit to my left are the finest men and women in the state of Indiana. A number of months ago, more than 2,500 applications of individuals were received by the Indiana State Police, all of them wanting to be sitting in these seats today. 55 of you have demonstrated your commitment to discipline and excellence and to the tradition of the Indiana State Police. And that alone makes you very special people. You are select, you have a right to be proud and to stand tall. But you know, every single member of your family, your children, your spouses, your moms and dads, all of you have a right to stand tall and be proud as well, because without your support, without your commitment, I know that many of these celebrations would not be possible here today. So the first thing that we celebrate today is the fact that we have some of the finest men and women anywhere making a commitment today to public service. Now, the second thing that we will be celebrating today is the fact that there is no single way in which we communicate what is the very foundation of this great republic in which we live than through the symbols of law and order and justice. And those who wear the uniform and who enforce the law and who represent the law in every moment of their waking life are the symbol of that system. A government of laws rather than of men and women, a government which has decided that individual human rights are very, very special. And when others tread on those rights, it is appropriate that society set the rules through a system of laws as to how we treat each other. And so one of the great responsibilities that these men and women assume today is a responsibility to communicate that American ideal, that ideal of law and order and justice for all. Communication is one of the toughest things we do in this world today. It's one of the hardest things that any of us do in our day-to-day lives with other people, and particularly with those people that we have never seen before. Communication, in the final analysis, may be one of the most important things that these men and women accomplish, because 95% of our people never violate a law. 95% of our people will only know their presence by seeing them and hearing what they have to say and how they conduct their lives. And so the second thing that we celebrate today is the beginning of a career of communication, a career that symbolizes those things that we hold so dear in these United States, and that is our American system of government. But finally, the third thing that we celebrate today is the dedication that these men and women make to public service. You know, there has never been a time in our history when our form of government has been more on trial than it is today. There are those around this globe who question our system. There are those even in this country who question our system. There are those who question the credibility of our system. And yet, as I have traveled around this globe and met men and women from around the world, I know and sense when I talk with them that our system is still the envy of the rest of the civilized world. Now, the thing that makes the biggest difference in whether or not people have faith in their government and faith in the system is when they have contact with it. And you know, there are literally thousands of Hoosiers whose only contact with government will be with these 55 men and women. Their entire impression of what government is like will be the result of that one contact. Of course, they'll get letters from government. They will see publications from government. They'll hear what those of us who are in public life will say about government and what government does. But the thing that makes the difference is that human touch, that moment when a state trooper comes in contact with your life. And that is a very special moment, because it's at that moment when we say to those folks, this is what government is like. Government is just. Government is fair. Government has a sense of humor. Government has a sense of compassion and understanding. And it is that factor that among all the others we celebrate today, because we are sending into public service today 55 of the most talented individuals we can find anywhere to represent a system which is the envy of the rest of the civilized world, but more important than that, it is one of the most important possessions that all of us have. And so it is my pleasure today, on behalf of Governor Robert Orr, the members of the Indiana General Assembly, both in the House and Senate, and the 5.5 million Hoosiers who live in this state, to offer my congratulations to these 55 men and women, to their families. May these coming years of public service be important to you. May they be years that you remember as having done your job in a way in which you can be proud. I want you to know that all of us in Hoosier land are proud of you at this moment and are counting on you heavily in the years ahead. It's my pleasure to share this moment with you and with your families. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
It is now my honor to introduce to you Chief Justice Randall Shepard of the Indiana Supreme Court, who will give the oath of office to our cadets. Chief Justice.
Thank you and good morning. I think that the Lieutenant Governor has said some of the most profound things than one could say on a Saturday morning about law and about government. I particularly want to mention one notion which John Mutz has provided for us, which has a special meaning for people like me, whose job it is to examine law and to assess the justice of individual situations. And that is that people like state troopers, whose job it is to assist in enforcing the law, and people like John Mutz, whose job it is to help make laws, and people like me, whose job it is to assess them and to litigate them, share one important role together. We share it. And that sharing is that all of that work is not for people, but of people. We do it because Americans collectively believe in self-government, and all of those things are self-government. The things which we call laws, and the institutions which we call government, and the agencies which we call law enforcement or courts, are in fact collective agreements by which the people of this country agree to live with each other. Those agreements and the institutions are only vital. They support the American way of life only as those who are charged with overseeing them are credible in the eyes of the people who have selected them to do that. The most remarkable thing which I heard early in the week came from the Senate of the United States, which, as you know, is deciding whether to confirm Judge Kennedy as a member of the Supreme Court. He was asked by one of the senators whether all of the laws and all of the machinery of government, which is a part of 20th century life, did not somehow in the end make us less free and impinge on our liberty. And he said something simple and easy to remember, but not always easy to understand fully. He said, "Without law, there is no liberty." And that really was all he needed to say about that. The role of a state trooper, like the role of a chief justice or a lieutenant governor, is to assure that the law makes us free and makes this a just society. And it's a great pleasure for me today to come to administer to you the oath of office as you embark upon the business of doing that. Would you all then please stand and raise your right hand? Take your oath. Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend.
I do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
the Constitution and laws of the United States of America.
and the Constitution and laws of the State of Indiana, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I will faithfully and justly discharge the duties of an employee of the Indiana State Police Department, according to the best of my ability. I furthermore do solemnly swear that I am not now and never have been a member of the Communist Party, a Communist Front organization, or any organization which advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States, by force and violence. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I'll now introduce, again, Superintendent Furness, who will present the Superintendent's Award and the Johnny Hatfill Memorial Award.
This year, for the first time, we introduced 2 new awards for troopers, cadets, now troopers, that went through our program, and there are awards that are very special awards to us. The very first one that I have is what is termed as the Superintendent's Award. The award itself states that set forth its qualifications, what the qualifications are for. And I just would like to read the plaque. This plaque will be duplicated, by the way, with a large one that will be placed in the State Office building with each recipient's name on it in the future, and it will continue on as the years go by. May I read it? Superintendent's Award, Indiana State Police. Presented to the cadet of each Indiana State Police Academy who has exhibited outstanding mental attitude, excellence in academic and physical performance, and who has exemplified the character expected of an Indiana State Police officer. This first award is presented this day to Douglas E. Shelton. Believe me, it took a lot of work for that award. The next award that we have is a brand new one as well, as I stated. And we have with us today a person in our audience that I would like to ask to come forward, and she's going to present that award and make a few comments. Mickey Hatfill.
I would like to say congratulations to the new probationary officers and to their families. My name is Mickey Hatfill, and I am the survivor of John Edward Hatfill, who was killed in April. We would like to thank the Indiana State Police family for their kindness, for their consideration, and for the compassion that they have shown to me and to our children. Thank you to David Benjamin for his complete cooperation in the preparation of the plaque, and thank you to training for their willingness to perpetuate John Hatfill's memory. on behalf of Sergeant Hatfield, we would like to present the Firearms Proficiency Award to a new probationary officer who is assigned to Pendleton Post. He will be an asset to the district and to the department. Ladies and gentlemen, Probationary Officer Thomas R. Ferguson.
The names of the recipients of this award in the future will also be listed on a large plaque that is duplicated of the smaller one in the State Office Building offices itself. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Superintendent. We will now present the members of the class with their Indiana State Police badges and the Law Enforcement Training Board's Certificate of Graduation. Anyone in the audience who would like to take photographs at this time may do so. I just ask you that you do not block the procession as they will proceed across the stage and return to their seats. I would also ask that you save the applause until the end. Toby K. Asher. James P. Bartram. John M. Bartram. Thomas H. Baxter. Kathy J. Brown. Her badge will be presented by her husband, Trooper Lou Brown. Rex L. Caldwell. Gordon R. Cannon. Mark A. Carnell. Gerald P. Collins. Roy E. Cook. Tyrone David Cox. Robert A. Cross. Kim W. Curry. Dwayne E. Datzman. Stephen E. Falk. Thomas R. Ferguson. Kimberly K. Gasvoda. Joseph C. Goward. Benton W. Gentry. Russell T. Hayes. Robert J. Helfrich. Mark A. Helms. Bart M. Hensley. His badge will be presented by his father, Lieutenant Calvin Hensley. Shelley A. Jones. Brad A. Kaiser. Gretchen Michelle Kleinbub. Tony W. Knox. Christopher S. Lewis. His badge will be presented by his father, Sergeant Tom Lewis. Amy J. Lowe. Terry L. Lyman. David A. Makowski. Charles W. McDaniel. John M. McElwain. Lisa K. Nave. Her badge will be presented by her father, Detective Sergeant William Nave. Randall L. Neighbors. Timothy G. Poling. Dwayne L. Randall. Bernard A. Roush. Gerald S. Rierick. Brenda G. Roach. Tracy K. Rolfing. Edward C. Schroeder. Douglas E. Shelton. His badge will be presented by his father, Captain Richard Shelton. John A. Schoaf. Samuel L. Sisler. Lonnie L. Slisher. Kevin W. Smith. Samuel J. Sterling. His badge will be presented by his father-in-law, Detective Sergeant Don Collins. Jacqueline K. Taylor. Jonathan J. Watson. Max C. Weber, Jr. Stephen R. Weigel. Brian A. White. Ronald E. Whitney. Alan J. Williamson. Please join me in giving him a hand. The class will now participate in this ceremony by having a representative address the assembly. This representative they've selected among their peers, and that particular person is Trooper Gerald Collins of the 45th Recruit Academy. Would you come forward, please?
Thank you, Major Medler. On behalf of the recruits or troopers of the 45th Recruit class, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you for being here with us today. I'm very honored to be representing this group of cadets and explaining to you in a very small way just a little bit about who we are and how we got here. On August 24th, almost 17 weeks ago, we met for the first time to begin our training. From throughout the state, 60 individuals came together, each having his own personality, level of experience, education, and potential. Our backgrounds were very different, yet we shared two common goals. Our first goal was a relentless determination to succeed and to be here today. And our second was a strong desire in reaching our maximum potential in the challenges that lay ahead. During our first week of training, most of us lived in a bubble of uncertainty while we became accustomed to a new regimen as well as a new lifestyle. During those first few days, the Academy staff brought us together for orientation and explained to us our new duties and responsibilities. They pointed out the steps we needed to take to be successful, emphasizing the importance of developing a certain attitude. An attitude of pride and respect, not only in ourselves, but in the uniform we wear and the job we perform. An attitude of teamwork toward one another, and just as important, an attitude of always striving for excellence. At that time, the staff proposed that if each one of us worked hard toward achieving excellence in our upcoming challenges, that we would be successful. Our class motto became excellence through discipline. Those three words became ingrained in both our thoughts and actions, guiding each one of us from challenge to success. Our initial training was in the classroom academics, where we were indoctrinated in the important aspects of law enforcement. There was an incredible amount of information to absorb and master in the available amount of time, and this situation had even been analogized by the staff as being similar to trying to take a drink of water from a fire hose. Now, few cadets would probably disagree with this comparison, and at times many of us even felt that it was probably just a little bit more like trying to take that same drink of water while standing under Niagara Falls. But it was during these initial times of feeling our way around this new regimen, groping for a foothold that would enable each of us to begin building that foundation of success, that a fascinating thing happened. For the first time, we as a group began to work together as a team. Out of the initial uncertainty that most of us experienced during our first few days grew a camaraderie that as a class we will always share. Each cadet began to contribute something from his or her strengths in an attempt to overcome our collective weaknesses. As a result, we learned from one another and grew to become a family guided by a common goal of success. From those days forward, we studied together, trained together, and most important, succeeded together. The cadets, or troopers, seated here represent a broad cross-section of our society. Some of our differences are physically apparent. Among us, we have persons with prior law enforcement experience. Some of us are married and have children. We have certified emergency medical technicians, former military personnel, and college graduates. But no matter what our past experiences and achievements have been, we are here today because we all firmly believe that the Indiana State Police is the best law enforcement agency in this nation. We know that this reputation was established and has been promoted by those in the department who have preceded us. We understand and appreciate the weight of our responsibility to maintain and carry on this tradition of excellence for those who follow. Therefore, we are ready to face our new assignments and to accept the challenges that await each of us in our new careers. Now, so far, I've attempted to show that a state police cadet, as an individual, achieves success primarily by channeling the proper amounts of determination, motivation, and desire into reaching his or her goals. However, there is one other variable that must also be present, a variable that almost always has a direct correlation with the degree of success that one achieves. This variable is support. The support that you, our family and friends, give to us through your understanding helps to make our work more meaningful, rewarding, and satisfying. The support displayed in your confidence and the pride for who we are and who we work for strengthens the confidence and pride that we have in ourselves. Even the support that you've given us by being here today encourages each of us in our future career. Therefore, on behalf of the 45th recruit class, I'd like to thank you for the love, understanding, and pride and support that we have received from you. To the graduates of the 45th recruit class, as we make the transition today from cadet to trooper, there are several rules, 4 in all, that I'd like you to remember and practice from this day forward. Number 1, always aim high in your steering. Number 2, always keep your eye on the front sight. Number 3, and remember, in anything that you do, have the pride and respect in both yourself and the uniform. But number 3, always strive for excellence. And I promised you the other night I would never say it again, but I'm going to. Rule number 4, regardless of the situation that you find yourself in, doesn't make any difference. Just never give up. Thank you.
Thank you, Trooper Collins. I would now like to introduce some of the training staff and counselors briefly, and some distinguished guests that we have here this morning. First of all, I'd like to recognize the training staff. As I read your name, would you please stand? First Sergeant Dan East, who is my assistant. Sergeant Dave Benjamin. Dave's the person that ramrodded the academy. Sergeant Pat McCreary. Sergeant Jeffrey Wardlow. And now the counselors. Let me say a little bit about our counselors. These people have basically ate, slept, endured all with these recruits day and night. It's a long-hour job. It's not an easy assignment. But they were able to put the instruction that we had for them in a viable and working educational experience for all the recruits and for each individual. Their performance has been excellent, I would say, as evidenced by the class before you today. I'd like to recognize these people at this time. Trooper Douglas Carter, Trooper Mary Hess, Trooper Scott Moore, Trooper Nora Doporowski is not here today. She was unable to attend. She had surgery and was not able to make it today. However, we do have another trooper that's with us today who is one of our counselors, Trooper Steve Vanderey. Let me just say a couple words about Steve. Some of you may notice his head today. He has cancer. Talking about never giving up, that's what he's done. Thank you, Steve, for being here. Kathy Dean and Robin Sample, two of the secretaries from the division in the back that mentioned this morning's programs, I'd also like to thank them for being here with me. I'd also like to introduce some of the distinguished guests we have from the department. My boss, Lieutenant Colonel Lloyd Jennings, who's in charge of support services. Captain John Hill, who's in charge of our enforcement division. I'd like Mel to stand again. Lieutenant Melvin Caraway, who sang our national anthem. I now ask you all to stand, please, as I call Father Cooley forward for the benediction.
You know, I'm sure as the new troopers came up and got their badge, there were many thoughts went through your mind, and thoughts of pride. Well, there was a thought went through my mind also as Trooper Datzman was called to receive his badge. I thought, now there's another employee from Benton County. Benton County is small, but it has quality. You see, I'm from Benton County also. Let us pray. Almighty God, we ask you to protect our state police family. Protect them both spiritually and physically. Let us, in a moment of quiet this morning, consider the new responsibilities that these officers have, but responsibilities that bear on all of us. A responsibility to the Indiana State Police, a responsibility to self, and responsibility to family. Allow us never to put one before the other, but rather with common sense, determination, and dedication, remain true to all. We ask you to allow us to see the individual grow, our department grow, and our families grow, now and for all eternity. We ask this in your name. Merry Christmas to all of you.
Thank you for attending this graduation ceremony. You should be proud of the accomplishments of these young men and women. I'd like to leave you with this and also say that the recruits will be exiting and the colors will be exiting. You can meet the recruits in the far lobby at the end of the procession. And remember, in the words of Oliver Wendell Holmes, every calling is great when greatly pursued. Thank you for attending.
Is that the new camera?
One guy picking up.
Oh, I know, and I
Congratulations.